towards someone. Again, I think I want Paddy Pimblett to win. Just again, I think it's good for the sport. Build that hype even more. So, again, he's young and that, like, build him up and each challenge at a time.
Ilia is one of the best in the world. I mean, he is one of the most dangerous fighters that there is, and he's a lot more dangerous than Paddy Pimblett.
I think it's one of the easiest fights that I could have in the lightweight division. I don't know. I can do with him whatever I want to do in reality.
Ilia no mas Topuria. He doesn't want no more.
I think Paddy and Ilia is one of the biggest fights you can make in all of the sport. Why not? Why aren't we doing this fight right now? I want to see Ilia versus Paddy no matter what. Ladies and gentlemen,
Paddy Pimblett's dominant UFC 329 victory has completely changed the lightweight picture, establishing him as a serious contender in the division. At the same time, his long-running feud with Ilia Topuria is reaching a boiling point, with both the rivalry and the hype surrounding a potential matchup at an all-time high. Now, analysts and fans are debating how this bitter rivalry would unfold if the two finally met inside the octagon, and which fighter would have the advantage when it matters most.
Seeing guys like, Paddy do well, especially when there's so much hype and, you bring in a lot of eyes to the sport and got a lot of respect for that. So he's still young too, right? He's still young. I respect him in the fact that, he doesn't want to rush into the biggest challenges straight away. He's still young. He's still learning, earning his way.
Max Holloway believes Paddy Pimblett has earned his place among the lightweight division's top contenders and expects him to have a solid game plan if he eventually faces Ilia Topuria. However, Holloway also points out that MMA can change instantly, and the fighter who executes his strategy better under the pressure of fight night will ultimately come out on top.
I think Paddy and their team will prepare right for that fight. I think so. They have a game plan, and he's no slouch. A lot of people thought Paddy was like this guy who just talks and runs his mouth, and then he got to prove himself against a guy like Chandler. And he's not a wrestler, but he out-wrestled a wrestler, which is pretty crazy to see. So
Michael Bisping believes a matchup between Ilia Topuria and Paddy Pimblett has everything needed to become a massive pay-per-view event. The genuine bad blood, years of tension, and popularity of both fighters make this much bigger than a standard title fight. Bisping sees it as exactly the type of rivalry the UFC should prioritize and promote heavily.
Two fighters like this with such high profiles like Paddy Pimblett and Ilia Topuria, and there's that much tension, that much beef, that much drama, that much old school footage that they can use, not only squaring up inside the octagon, but at UFC London when they were talking shit and had to be separated by security. I heard stories of them almost getting into fights in the hallways and stuff like that, but there was no cameras rolling. Of course, there was a few water bottles thrown and stuff like that. There's always been heat and friction between the two of them, and now it's lining up absolutely perfectly for a blockbuster.
Bisping believes Paddy Pimblett has several major options ahead of him, including matchups with Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway, Ilia Topuria, and Charles Oliveira. However, if Gaethje moves forward with a potential title defense against Arman Tsarukyan, Bisping suggests Paddy should focus on the other high-profile fights that could take his career to another level.
Who is Paddy Pimblett going to fight next? Because you can look at the UFC rankings and they all make sense. I mean, Justin Gaethje, a rematch there, yeah, sure. But I don't think it's going to be that one because Ali Abdelaziz, the manager of Justin Gaethje, he just came out and said that Justin Gaethje has been offered a fight and it's someone that he's never fought before. Well, he's fought Ilia Topuria, he just beat him. He's fought Charles Oliveira, he's fought Max Holloway, he's fought Paddy Pimblett. The only name that I haven't mentioned from the top 5 of the rankings is Arman Tsarukyan, who in my opinion is the rightful number 1 contender. So it isn't going to be Justin Gaethje for Paddy Pimblett next, but don't worry because there is nothing but a litany of challenges and people that he could go up against, and oh my god, he deserves them all. If it was a rematch with Justin Gaethje, I wouldn't care. Ilia Topuria, of course, they have so much history. They do not like each other. The chorizo, the hand sandwich.
Bisping highlights Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway as two particularly exciting options for Paddy Pimblett. A matchup with Oliveira would heavily test Pimblett's grappling and ground skills, while a fight with Holloway has become even more attractive after Max's big victory over Conor McGregor, which further boosted the appeal of the matchup.
The man is blessed. He is called Max Holloway. Okay, Max Holloway versus Paddy Pimblett. Tell me you wouldn't want to see that fight. That fight makes all the sense in the world. The former BMF, the former 145-pound champion, one of the greatest to ever do it, and a massive star in his own right as well. By the way, a man that handled himself with absolute class on Saturday night. He could have talked a lot of shit to Conor McGregor, but he didn't. And you could see that when McGregor went down, he didn't even really want to punch him in the face too much because he's like, hold on, he's hurt, he's injured. Ref, there's something wrong with his leg, right? That is a great guy right there in front of you. That would be an awesome fight. And then, of course, there's one person out there that is the baddest motherfucker in all of the sport. He is called Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira is the BMF champion. Paddy the Baddy versus Charles Du Bronx Oliveira for the BMF.
From both a competitive and promotional perspective, these matchups offer plenty of appeal. Pimblett remains confident regardless of who the UFC puts in front of him, and he has openly questioned whether Charles Oliveira is still at the level he once was. Paddy also believes his own grappling would give him the advantage and could allow him to submit Oliveira if they eventually meet inside the octagon.
About 10 minutes ago, I'd submit Charles.
And have you heard anything back from him or?
No, like, I've got nothing but respect for Charles. I know what I mean. He's an absolute legend in the sport, but he's on his way out. And I think if he tried to grapple with me, I'd submit him. But we'd probably end up having a war for 5 rounds on the feet if I ended up fighting Charles Oliveira.
Jorge Masvidal shares the same view about a potential Paddy Pimblett versus Ilia Topuria matchup, arguing that Pimblett's dominant performance has made the fight too significant for the UFC to overlook. With genuine bad blood, title implications, and huge fan interest all surrounding the rivalry, Masvidal believes the promotion should move quickly before the current momentum starts to disappear.
Out to the Paddy fight, I was not expecting that at all whatsoever. Holy smokes. Newsflash, if you don't know, Paddy choked a man dead in 30 seconds. And that man was BSD, which is no slouch. Paddy, wow, my hat's off to you, brother. That was impressive. I didn't think you were going to do that, man. That was impressive. I think Paddy and Ilia is one of the biggest fights you can make in all of the sport. Why not? Why aren't we doing this fight right now? I want to see Ilia versus Paddy no matter what. Ladies and gentlemen,
Chael Sonnen believes Paddy Pimblett is now in an excellent position, with several major opportunities available after UFC 329. Although he sees plenty of appeal in a matchup with Max Holloway, Sonnen thinks fights against Ilia Topuria or Arman Tsarukyan make more sense based on the current lightweight rankings. He also suggests that if the division changes quickly, Pimblett could unexpectedly find himself in the championship picture sooner than expected.
Next for Paddy, you want to know a great fight that somebody in the know, I got to leave their name out, but somebody whose opinion matters just suggested? Max Holloway versus Paddy the Baddy. Now, I understand the recency bias on getting them together, but there's still a post-fight press conference. There's post-fight media. If those guys go out and find one another, right, I don't think it's a fight that the UFC is going to get going. Paddy the Baddy's already got his hands full. He got business with Arman Tsarukyan. He's got business with Ilia Topuria. Justin Gaethje mentioned last night, if you guys didn't see, that he has not yet decided if he's going to retire or continue to compete. I didn't even know that was on the table. I thought Gaethje was all in, but just imagine that Gaethje was to step aside. That puts the belt up at a vacated standpoint. 2 athletes are going to be asked to come forward. I have to assume Paddy.
Sonnen also gives Pimblett credit for showing that he has developed far beyond his reputation as simply an entertaining personality. He points to the improvements in Paddy's lifestyle, year-round conditioning, preparation, and overall professionalism as signs of a more serious fighter. After such a strong and relatively injury-free performance, Sonnen believes Pimblett is in an ideal position to take on another major opponent without needing a long break.
Hot man, Paddy the Baddy is nobody's fool. I think that you guys are seeing that now, but a lot of you guys were like me. You thought that this was a kid that said funny things with a weird hairdo. This is a regional fighter. He doesn't take it too serious. He blows up. He goes from Paddy the Fatty to Paddy the Baddy. He doesn't do that anymore. Rashad Evans was just making a point. Rashad had talked with people in his camp. Paddy's not blowing up in between fights anymore. Paddy's been out with injury. Paddy's last contest was a long, drawn-out, 25-minute war. Think about him in this standpoint. If he uses this for what it should be, a springboard, he's already got his weight down. He's already in shape. He doesn't have to miss a week, 2, 3, 4 weeks of practice to heal his body. This literally is what dreams.
As the discussion around Pimblett's next move continues, attention is also turning toward the lightweight title picture. Many analysts expect newly crowned champion Justin Gaethje to make his first defense against Arman Tsarukyan, with the matchup viewed as one of the most competitive and deserving options available at the top of the division. Arman's consistent performances and position among the leading contenders make him a natural candidate for the next title opportunity.